What if I told you? There's a giant hero buried beneath the mountains of Montalban, and every earthquake we feel is him trying to break free. This is not just a myth. It's a legend that refuses to die. And today, we uncover the truth behind the legend of Bernardo Carpio. If you love stories like these, don't forget to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you'll always be updated on my latest videos. In the distant mountains of the Philippines, where the wind howls like ancient spirits and the trees seem to whisper forgotten names, there lies a story so old it predates memory itself. A legend buried beneath stones and wrapped in centuries of silence. This is not merely a tale of rock and strength, but of enslavement, betrayal, and the undying hope for freedom. They say that deep within the Sierra Madre, between the towering mountains of Montalban, a giant being lies imprisoned, not by chains, but by cursed stones said to be fated to hold him there forever. His name is spoken with reverence and awe, often in whispers, as if saying it too loudly might awaken him from his deep slumber. Bernardo Carpio, the giant, the hero, the eternal prisoner. To some, he is merely a legend, told to frighten children from wandering into the mountain caves. But to others, he is the embodiment of the nation's soul, a once free man, bound by foreign oppressors and ancient spirits, waiting for the day when his people are ready to rise, so that he, too, may rise again. This is not just a tale. It is a legend carved in stone, whispered through earthquakes, and etched into the memory of every generation. Today, we will take a glimpse into the story of the man who splits mountains, and why his struggle still beats in the heart of the Filipino people. A long time ago, when the skies seemed to weep under the weight of foreign flags, and the earth groaned with every footstep of the conquerors, the Filipino people lived not only in poverty, but in fear. Their voices were silenced, their freedom chained, and their dignity crushed. Yet even in the darkest corners of suffering, a spark of hope refused to die. From one villager's whisper to the next, a story spread of a hero born of both earth and sky, a chosen one, blessed by the gods, destined to shatter their chains. That hope took form in the person of Bernardo Carpio. Some say he was the son of a mortal woman and a powerful diwata. Others believe he was a gift from the gods, destined to be the guardian of the land. He possessed the power to bend trees, pierce through stone, and lift massive chunks of earth, as if they were but pebbles. But along with his strength came a fate he did not choose. He was born in the wild and rocky land of Montalban, where the mountains stood like ancient sentinels, silently watching over the earth, and the rivers flowed through the valleys like veins of life. His parents were simple folk. His father, Juan, was a blacksmith whose every hammer strike echoed like thunder across the village. His mother, Maria, was a quiet yet wise woman, believed to have the gift of communicating with the unseen realm. Even as a child, Bernardo was different. At the age of 5, he could already carry bundles of wood twice his size. By 8, he lifted stones no grown man could move. When he turned 16, he stood taller than any warrior, his arms like they were forged from iron, and his eyes glimmered not just with fire, but with destiny. But Bernardo was more than just strength. He was known for the kindness of his heart. He helped rebuild houses destroyed by storms. He personally tilled the land for widows and carried the elderly sick to the village healer. The people of Montalban held deep respect and love for him, not out of fear, but out of genuine admiration. Before long, legends began to surround him. Some believed he was the offspring of ancient giants from the time of Bathala. Others claimed he was a spirit sent to protect the land. His name, once whispered quietly, now echoed through the valleys like a prayer. And as the chains of oppression tightened even more, so too did he grow as a symbol of hope. Bernardo was no longer just a strong man. He was seen as a savior, a living prophet. The abilities of Bernardo Carpio seemed to come from the gods. His strength was said to rival the mightiest beings of ancient myth. It was told that he could uproot a tree with one hand, as if its roots were mere threads, lift a boulder the size of a house, and toss it as though it were dust. Carve a path through the thickest jungle simply by walking, each step creating a trail behind him. Redirect the flow of a river by lifting logs and earth to build a new path for the floodwaters. Leap from mountain to mountain, with the wind singing in his wake. Even in captivity, his strength never faded. Instead, it became one with the very land itself. Every earthquake in Luzon, according to locals, is the movement of Bernardo. A shrug of his mighty shoulders, a push against the boulders that imprison him, a deep breath that makes the mountains tremble. They say he possesses a spiritual power strong enough to shift the energy around him. The birds fall silent, and the animals grow restless when he is near. His inner strength is a reflection of the Filipino spirit, resilient, enduring, and quietly powerful. During one of the darkest chapters in Philippine history, the nation groaned under the weight of foreign rule. The Spaniards, who had long planted their flag on Philippine soil, ruled with an iron fist, collecting cruel taxes, enforcing forced labor, and punishing native Filipinos without mercy. Even the quiet town of Montalban was not spared. Their harvests were seized, and their youth were taken by force to fight in wars that were not their own. Families were torn apart, and the entire land echoed with cries of sorrow and despair. Amidst all this suffering, one man stood tall, Bernardo. He silently watched the torment of his fellow Filipinos, his heart ablaze with rage against the injustice. He knew he was born with extraordinary strength, and now he understood why. That strength wasn't meant for mere survival. It was meant for resistance. The time has come, he declared, his voice echoing across the hills. We will no longer bow to the cruelty of Spanish rule. Our freedom will not be forged in silence, but through resistance. The villagers listened, their hearts pounding faster. He was no longer just a man. He was a symbol. Bernardo Carpio had become the spirit of the Filipino people, rising to fight centuries of oppression. And with courage in their hearts, they followed him. With eyes full of determination, he gathered the bravest men from Montalban and nearby towns, men who had lost everything and were now ready to reclaim their future. Their uprising began in the shadows, swift and calculated strikes against Spanish garrisons and supply lines. Like whispers in the wind, they would strike without warning and vanish just as quickly, leaving their enemies gripped with fear. As news of their victories spread, so too did the legend of Bernardo Carpio. To the colonizers, he was a fierce and relentless enemy, but to the oppressed, he was a blazing flame of hope, a living symbol of the Filipino spirit that could never be broken. The Spanish conquerors conspired with malevolent spirits and treacherous witches to bring an end to his reign. He was deceived. Some say through dark magic, others claim it was a betrayal by a trusted friend. According to legend, two enchanted mountains, Mount Tapusi and Mount Mataba, were commanded to close in and trap him. He was lured into the caves between Mount Mataba and Mount Tapusi, where two cursed boulders lay in wait. As soon as he stepped into the sacred cave, the stones moved as if alive, crashing together to crush him. But Bernardo, with a heart of steel and arms like iron, held them apart, pushing back the stones with all his might to keep them from meeting. Nature itself moved to imprison the hero. Between two colossal boulders, Bernardo was sealed, not dead, but alive, and with his mighty arms, he held the mountains apart, preventing them from crashing down completely. Yet his imprisonment was not merely physical. It was also symbolic. His struggle mirrored that of his people, trapped between the crushing weight of colonization and the burning hope for freedom. Some say it was the gods who orchestrated it all, that his entrapment was part of a divine plan. For one day, when the cries of the oppressed once again reach the heavens, Bernardo will rise once more. He will shatter the stones that bind him and lead his people toward the freedom that has long been denied them. And so, the nation continues to wait. Many generations have passed, but he is never forgotten. Even today, when the earth trembles in Montalban, the elders nod slowly. "That's him," they whisper. "Bernardo is stirring. He's trying to break free." To this day, every earthquake is a reminder that beneath the stones, the hero of the Philippines still lives, watching, waiting. And when the right time comes, he will rise, not only to lift the mountains, but to rebuild the entire nation. And he waits still, bound to the stone, but alive in the story, in the mountain, and in the soul of the Filipino people. Yet fate was never simple, for even the strongest arms have their limits when it comes to the weight of destiny. Bernardo Carpio is no longer just a legend. He has become a symbol of the Filipino spirit. Through every generation, his story continues to journey, evolving, yet never dying. During the era of colonization, his name was invoked as a symbol of resistance. The legend of the giant chained to the rock became a mirror of the Filipinos' bondage to foreign invaders. During the revolutions against the Americans in the 20th century, Carpio's story was revived. His eternal struggle became an inspiration to those who longed for independence. And even today, Bernardo Carpio remains a symbol of resistance. His story can be found in art, film, music, literature, and television. One of the most famous renditions was the TV show in the 70s, which reintroduced the legend to a new generation. The cave where he is said to be imprisoned in Rodriguez, Rizal, formerly Montalban, has become a pilgrimage site for those seeking to partake in his strength. They offer candles, flowers, and prayers. Bernardo Carpio is not just a legend. He is a symbol of resilience amidst oppression, of hope amidst despair. And with every tremor of the earth, perhaps it's not just an earthquake. Perhaps it is Bernardo Carpio, striving once again to break free. As we reflect on the enduring spirit of Bernardo Carpio, let us remember the power of hope, resilience, and the unwavering fight for freedom. Join us in preserving and sharing the stories that shape our history, for every tale of courage has the potential to inspire change. If you believe in the strength of the Filipino spirit, share this story. Keep the legend alive and let us all continue to rise, just like Bernardo Carpio, against the forces that seek to hold us back. Subscribe, share, and stay inspired. The fight for freedom is eternal, and together we can make sure the story of Bernardo Carpio lives on.